Bloody days and you're still out. When's it gonna end? I've run out of ideas. Get up, you lazy bastard! Oh, cripes. If you think conservatives are dangerous because they pander to people's basest instincts with fear, misrepresentation, and lies, know that even in the GOP, the 30% fringe lunatic tail is wagging the dog in a system where the extreme voice manages to control the process through nothing but noise. But the alternative can be equally scary. Imagine if everything, every time was subject to actual democracy, where every person could vote on every topic, and the government had to respond and act on the will of the people each time as it happened. For example, in October, the top priority of Canadians were consistently polling as healthcare, vaccinations, climate change, and housing affordability. All expensive items, all things that required a long-term commitment, all things that any effort to address was likely to exacerbate economic risk in the short term. Fast forward a month later, and the number one issue among voters is affordability and the cost of living, mostly triggered by a short-term bump in inflation. The immediate short-term and nearly diametric opposite priorities to what happened on the list only a month earlier. A true democracy would clearly never get anything done, as the whims and shifting tides of a fickle electorate constantly undulated their demands from long to short term, wanting both to have their cake of a cozy future and eat it too in a comfortable present. A system so easily affected by those who peddle fear, lies, and false equivalencies to sway the flavor of the moment, here too known as modern conservative bullcrap. That's why we have representative democracies. We go to elections, we choose representatives, usually having to focus on bigger issues, platforms, policies, and big ideas. And then we rightly expect them to be the parent and deliver even when things get tough. And when there are conflicting demands, such as the need to shift us to tomorrow's green technologies, while still ensuring we can pay our bills today in an economy heavily dependent on primary industries like oil and pipelines. Because if we left it up to the children, we'd have nothing but a bunch of whiny little babies crying about everything, even the things they demanded we fix just weeks earlier. And that lot needs to stay in the opposition where they'll do no harm. On this day in 1773, members of the Sons of Liberty, disguised as Mohawk Indians, dumped hundreds of crates of tea into Boston Harbor as a protest against the Tea Act. So you mean so-called patriots breaking in and damaging someone else's property did so while cowardly trying to pin the blame on others? Yeah, that sounds about right for those people. Still, it's also regifting day, chocolate-covered anything day, and Day of Reconciliation, South Africa. And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow.